Hey y'all, as many of you know, the Texas coast was recently hit with Hurricane Beryl. My family, along with many others, were affected without power, a lot of trees down and other things. We had an older generator, a Briggs & Stratton Storm Responder, 5,500 watts, 8250 peak. We ran that for 6 to 7 days, ran what we could inside the house. Eventually, about midway through the power outage that we had, I ended up installing a generator inlet box. I do have other videos on that on my channel. And with that, it made it a little bit easier. But after the storm and everything was said and done with, my wife and I decided we might need to upgrade and get a little bit bigger generator. So we ended up going with a Westinghouse 9500 tri-fuel. It is 12,500 peak watts and 9,500 running watts on gasoline. Of course, with propane, it drops down 1,000, and with natural gas, it drops down another 1,000. But anyway, we're going to do an unboxing this morning. We're going to do an assembly, and let's get going. See what it entails. All right, here's how it comes shipped. I should have told you earlier. Both Lowe's and Home Depot had these for $1,149. I just went with Lowe's, no particular rhyme or reason. I do shop at both stores. But anyway, I did order it. They were available at both, and took about, I believe, 9 days to come in. But that's what it looks like in the box. Hold tight, we'll get it out. All right, let's see what we got. All right, well, typical packaging. Got some instructions. Look at that mess up there. Damn. Battery charger, looks like. Y'all please excuse me, this will be the first time I'm using my headgear to record, so. Natural gas, looks like we got a propane cord or hose. Got some oil, some Earl, more hardware. There we go, see that? The wheels. All right, what we're gonna do, we're gonna pause the camera, and I'm actually going to cut this box, and because I'm not gonna be lifting this thing on my own. I believe it's about 300 pounds, so altogether. Hold tight. All right, I went through the user's manual. It's got that in there, it's got the setup in here. We're gonna have to, of course, add the oil. Now I've noticed this is a big jug of oil, almost said quart. It's not a quart, it's 1.16 or 1.1 liters, which is what it calls for. So keep that in mind when you're changing your oil. You're gonna need more than just a quart of oil. I'm kind of concerned too, because all I see right now is the LP hose. I haven't found the 25-foot natural gas hose yet. Again, we talked about that earlier. We have the battery charger and some of the hardware, which is the legs and the axle bolts, and that's for the 2 wheels over there. So let's get started on setup. Cut this one side of this cardboard box off, and as you can see, it's still got some unpacking to do, but there's your little remote start, key fob, some other things, battery hookup. It's got a caution for your oil. Oil has been drained for shipping, your battery. Anyway, we're gonna get this thing out in just a second. Here's your stats here. As you can see, the gasoline has much higher running capacity or watts than the natural gas, and a little bit more than a propane. All right, nestled over here on this side, it looks like we have our 25-foot natty gas right there. Okay, we're good. All right, let's get to assembling, folks. We got here. like a spark plug socket tool, little combo 10mm, 13mm wrench. A wrench. Pretty cool. Probably be filing that in the old trash can. All right, here's your two little feet, kind of rubberized. Axle bolts, or axles, not bolts. They're gonna go on with a cotter pins and these washers. Your four bolts that are gonna hold your feet on. There's a little hardware right there, folks. All right, we're gonna identify which end, which would be the opposite, where the handle's at. So here's your handle. All right, so your feet are gonna go right on that end. Let's get that set up. All right, I've gently set my generator up on end. There's no gas or oil in it, obviously, because we hadn't added the oil. And it's gonna give me easier access to install the feet. All right, got a couple bolt bosses right here. You're gonna start them. You got 4 of them. 10mm socket or wrench. All right, we're gonna get those started and we'll continue on. All right, finishing it up. Snugging them suckers down. Okay, so after we got those done, we're gonna put the wheels on. You notice we got a piece of cardboard thick in here, packaging stuff. Need to get that out of there. Anyway, back on this far end here, we're gonna put the axles and the wheels. All right, one thing I didn't notice earlier, these dang wheels actually have bearings in it. So anyway, outside, obviously inside, you're gonna take your axle, you're gonna go through this hole right here, run that sucker in. You do have a washer that's gonna go on the inside. You can see this right here. It's gonna go on the inside before the cotter pin. If you don't see that there, again, I apologize. I'm just using this headgear for the first time. There we go. Anyway, we're going to insert that cotter pin and do the repeat on the other side. This side's a little bit easier to see. Should have done it first. Put your washer with the appropriate side out. There's a rounded side and a flat side. I always like to put the flat side towards the surface that I'm preparing the washer for. Put your cotter pin in place and there you go. That sucker is there. All right, we're gonna put the oil in. Have our little caution tag. We can rip that sucker off. This particular engine has a dipstick. Some older Briggs & Stratton engines or current Briggs & Stratton engines, you just fill it to the top here. This does have a dipstick. Be cautious where you lay this so you don't want to get dirt inside your engine. Got a neat little funnel here. That came with the generator. As stated earlier, this engine should take all 1.1 liters or like 1.16 quarts of oil. So I'm not going to bore you with that. We're going to pause, fast forward. I'm going to continue filling it. All right, we've got all those 1.1 liters or 1.16 quarts of oil in there, and that will do it on the oil change. Be careful not to cross thread your plastic dipstick and oil filler cap. Next, we want to not disconnect. We want to connect the battery because it came disconnected from the manufacturer. It's simple, just plug and play there. I might zip tie this later out the way. Let's go over some of the features on this thing, and then we'll talk about some other items real quick. So this is your control panel. Obviously, you're going to have your 110 volt, looks like safety outlets, GFCI, both sides there. Okay, you have a 30 amp outlet there for powering a large generator cord, and then you have the big 50, which is what I have. That'll do all your 220 appliances, or could do all your 220 appliances depending on how much wattage you have. Remote start. This looks like this. Let's take this off. It's your main breaker here. Okay, you have a little digital control screen that's going to have your volts, your hours operation, any mechanical issues you might have with the generator that it detects. Smart switch ready, so if you have a if you have your house ready to go, so if you have a transfer switch installed on your house, that's what that would be for, I believe. Your main power button there, activate your battery. Your electric start, your electric start button. Here's your fuel selector, off, natural gas, propane, and then your gasoline here. And that's it. Down here you have your inlet for your natural gas and your propane, I believe, for both. That's a regulator right there. And anyway, so let's move around. Obviously you have your fuel tank up top. On this side you have an optional pull start, which I really liked that it was included. You have your fuel shutoff valve here if you're going to be messing with gasoline. Behind there, that little white plastic thing is your fuel filter. And beside the pull start, there's your air cleaner box. Has a couple clasps for probably easy access. And if we move around, main part of your motor, spark plug boot and plug wire, valve cover. And that's it. I'm gonna start this thing today. I believe you need to run it, they say, at less than 50% load for 5 hours and then do an oil change. And we're gonna do that. My goal is to hook it up to natural gas. I'll do a little video on that if it's worthwhile doing a video on. But that's the main reason we bought this one. One that's a little bit bigger than my storm responder. On natural gas, it'll be around 7,500 watts, which my storm responder is 55, and it did pretty good. Though I'm hoping this will run the my HVAC. Obviously, it's not going to run the HVAC, the electric stove, electric water heater, nor the dryer all at the same time. But I'm hoping it'll run any of those 4 big 220 appliances. But folks, thanks for watching Texas Patriot Off-Road and Outdoors.